Hey, beautiful people, you know what time it is. It is a chat with Rashina. And I want to talk about the revelations of the secret place. The secret place, excuse me, my allergies are cutting up today. The secret place is the quiet time you have with God. It's that place where you get alone with Him and He speaks to you and you speak to Him. You're waiting on Him, He's waiting on you, and there's a beautiful exchange. But what we need to understand about the secret place, that it is the most violent place. It is truly a war room, because that is the place that you die to self, and that is the place where God reveals you to you, and you have to make up in your mind that I'm going to yield to what God is showing me, and I'm going to make the necessary adjustments so that I can continue to be plumb in line with His word. One of the things that God has been dealing with me about, and here's the thing, I'm always going to be transparent and I was going to be open and tell you about what God is dealing with me about. So I have been in the season of transition and just a lot of shifting in the last several months, and it has not been easy. It has been challenging. It has been painful. It has been all the adjectives that you can put on a trying situation. And but I'm gaining my strength again. I'm gaining, because my strength is made perfect. His strength is made perfect in my weakness. So there's been a lot of vulnerability, a lot of transparency. And one of the things, even the last week, that He has been dealing with me about in the secret place, is pride. And a lot of times we think pride is just this selfish, or it's this overestimated view of ourselves. And yes, that is a layer of pride. But pride, for me, I believe it has several different layers, and it can manifest itself in several different ways. And here's the thing, we all deal with a level of pride because we're in this earth suit. So that's an area that we have to continue to die to daily, that we have to put on the altar. And for me, I believe pride is very topical. I believe if you begin to pull back the layers of pride, it exposes insecurity, it exposes doubt, it exposes fear. So for me, God was like, I was in the secret place, have been just seeking God for myself and asking God, what do I do? What's next? What part of my heart don't you have? Like all those prayers. And those are dangerous prayers to ask when you ask God to reveal yourself to you. Like, God, reveal myself to me. Like, that's a dangerous prayer, because He's going to do just that. And like I said, you have to make up in your mind that you're going to make the necessary adjustments, and you're going to yield to what He's showing you. And so when I was in prayer the other day, I kept hearing the word pride, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I don't operate in pride. I don't have an overestimated view of myself and all this kind of stuff. And He was like, no, dig a little deeper. So as I sat and I dealt with me, I realized that I was operating in pride because of my refusal to ask for help. So in my refusal to ask for help, I began to peel back those layers again. And it was, what will people think of me if I expose this part of me? And here's the thing. I thought that part of Rashina had died. But when you're in different circumstances, when you're in different situations, when you're in different trials and tribulations, you'll realize that it's layers to this thing. And one thing that you died to in one season may try to resurrect in another and just present itself in a different way. And God convicted me in the beautiful way that He convicts. It's like, because you can tell everybody else, you can scream it from the mountaintop, ask if you need help, ask if you got something going on, ask, all these kind of things. And I was refusing to do that for myself, because I'm like, no, God, it's all you. You're going to do it. You're going to work it out. And He uses people. He uses people a lot of times to solve whatever's going on in this earth. He uses us. So a lot of times I was denying the help of God, because I refused to let people in. And I was sitting there and I was like, God, I refuse to let people in. I'm in this state because if I let people in, am I going to be broken and disappointed again? I've lived a life of like people rejecting, people saying they're going to be there, all the different dynamics that we go through in life. And we've all had that story. And I was like, God, I don't want to be hurt again. I don't want to set myself up for disappointment again. And He was like, just be obedient. Just be obedient. And so I began to be obedient. I began to do some things. I put some stuff out there on Facebook, just about where I am, calling on my community, letting them know, bearing my soul to them, and I'm watching God heal. And I'm watching God restore. And here's the thing, there's still some things that I'm believing God for. And I've put it out there. I put it out there before people, and I put it out there before God. But I think the biggest lesson that I'm learning is that I have to get out of Rashina and not be worried about what people say or what they think about me. Because at the end of the day, I'm a child of God, and that's enough. At the end of the day, you're a child of God, and that's enough. Like, people's opinion does not matter. We seek to please an audience of one. But pride is a thief. Because you're refusing to get what you need, because you're sitting in thinking that you have control over the situation. Pride is a thief. Pride is a robber. Pride is a stealer of joy. And like I said, pride has many layers. Like, for me, that was topical. Pride, not asking for help, was topical. But when I peel back the layers, there was a level of insecurity that I was still operating in, because I feared that I would get let down again, that I would put myself out there, that I would ask for help, that I would be vulnerable. And here's the thing, the Bible is very clear. And I try to model this for myself. A lot of times we'll say we'll pray for you, but we have it in our means to be the answer, whatever that may be. And so a lot of times I struggle with that, because I'm like, people be like, I'm gonna pray for you, but you may have the answer, but you're refusing to give the answer or meet the need, whatever that may be. And so I was like, God, I'm not doing that, because I'm not putting myself out there to be hurt again. But he is breaking that off of me, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And here's the thing, what I love about God is I can give him my brokenness, I can give him my disappointment. He's big enough to handle it all. My pastor often talks about faith fatigue, and also talking about faith trauma. And I was sitting in that, because so many times we believe God for so much, and we're trusting and we're believing, and the Bible is clear, I believe, but help thou my unbelief. So there's a mix of emotion going on there. God, I believe you, I believe your sovereignty, I've seen you do it, you'll do it again, but this right here, God, I'm struggling with this right here. And so even in that, there's a level of breaking pride off to say, God, I in this area, I'm struggling with trust. I'm struggling with trust right there. And that's when God comes in and he sits in our humanity. That's when he comes in. And even this morning, I was thanking God. I said, God, thank you that even though I'm going through the fire, you're in it with me. Thank you for sitting in the ashes with me. Thank you for really never leaving me nor forsaking me. And it shifts your perspective when you can lay down pride, when you can lay down insecurities, when you can lay down disappointment at the feet of Jesus. He will set you in heavenly places, and you begin to get an aerial view of what God is doing in your life. You may not understand it all. You will never understand all of God's ways, for his ways are higher than our ways, and his thoughts are higher than our thoughts. But there's a peace that comes when you rest and when you war in the secret place. So yes, the secret place is for praise, it's for adoration, it's to give God the glory, but it's also a place for God to reveal you to you, because we're trying to be image bearers of the King. So he has to reveal to us those areas that are still broken, that are still maimed, those areas that we have not surrendered to God yet. And being a big girl, a big man in God, and being mature Christian is going into the secret place and asking those hard questions. God, what areas have I not surrendered to you? In what areas am I still trying to do things in my own ability? How am I operating or seeing you through the lens of hurt, seeing you through the lens of rejection? God, I am putting myself on the altar. I'm putting myself back on the potter's wheel and saying, God, do what you will in me, with me, and through me. And listen, the Bible even talks about the wounds of a friend. Yeah. A lot of times we blame our upsets, we blame our tribulations, we blame our pain, our loss, we blame it on the devil. But I'm reminded of a story in Job when he said, have you considered my servant Job? God offered Job up to go through trials and tribulation. He offered him up because, you know what, he knew that he would remain consistent, that he would be steadfast, and that he would continue to be a blameless man. Job had real human emotions, but then he knew he could take it to God. And that's the beauty of the relationship with God, is that we have real human emotions, we have real human upsets, but God is in the midst of it all. So I just wanted to encourage you about the secret place. It's more than just a feel good place. A lot of times, if you going in the war room like you're supposed to do, it's painfully beautiful, because God is going to reveal you to you. So in this season, I encourage you, ask those hard questions so you can look like who you belong to.